here are the top 10 best, most pointed A Nightmare on Elm Street kills. So these are the kills that have the most points in the franchise. We're looking at how bloody the kill is, how believable the kill is, how creative the kill is, how surprising the kill is, and how scary the kill is. And each category can get from 0 to 5 points. So, starting at number 10 is Coach Schneider from A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2, Freddy's Revenge. So, Coach Schneider, and for any kills I have the same amount of points. I just picked which one I liked more. So anyways, Coach Schneider gets slashed across the back. 3 points for how bloody it is, 5 points for how believable it is, because of course he'll die from that. 2 points for how creative it is, just because it's only slashing. 3 points for how surprising it is. It was pretty surprising that he died. And 4 points for how scary it is. It was pretty scary. It was a very scary kill. So, Coach Schneider comes out to a total of 17 points at number 10. Number 9 is Dean from the Elm Street remake. So, he gets his throat cut with a deep gash. 3 points for how bloody it is. 5 points for how believable it is. 2 points for how creative it is. Only because it's only a throat slash, so it's not that creative. 3 points for how surprising it is. It was pretty surprising in the beginning of the movie, and 4 points for how scary it is. It was pretty scary. So Dean comes out to a total of 17 points at number 9. Number 8 is Greta from A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 5, the Dream Child. So Greta gets fed herself, she's eating herself because Freddy Krueger is making her eat herself. So the 3 points for how bloody it is. It was pretty bloody. 4 points for how believable it is. Just because she would have died from actually being cut open instead of actually choking. 5 points for how creative it is. Pretty creative. 3 points for how surprising it is. It was kind of surprising that she died. And 3 points for how scary it is. It was pretty scary seeing her choking, especially at the dinner table. So Greta comes out to a total of 18 points at number 8. Number 7 is Sheila from A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4, The Dream Master. She gets her breath sucked out of her by Freddy. So 0 points for how bloody it is, because there's no blood. 4 points for how believable it is, taking 1 point off, because that's not exactly how someone would die or could die, getting their breath sucked out of them by someone else. 5 points for how creative it is. It's a pretty creative kill, though. 4 points for how surprising it is. It's pretty surprising that she died. And 5 points for how scary it is. It was very scary seeing Freddy suck the air out of her. So Sheila comes out to a total of 18 points at number 7. Number 6 is Glenn from the original A Nightmare on Elm Street. This was actually my personal favorite kill of the franchise. But now he's only at number 6. Glenn gets sucked down into his bed, and just blood geyser comes out of his bed. So, easily 5 points for how bloody it is, because it's extremely bloody. 0 points for how believable it is, because we don't know what happens to him down there. We don't know if he gets slashed or not, and a person doesn't have that much blood. 5 points for how creative it is, though. Extremely creative kill. 3 points for how surprising it is. You kind of knew that he was going to die, so it is kind of surprising. And 5 points for how scary it is. It was still scary, though. So Glenn comes out to a total of 18 points at number 6. Number 5 is Debbie from A Nightmare on Elm Street 4, The Dream Master. So Debbie gets turned into a cockroach and gets crushed by Freddy Krueger. So 2 points for how bloody it is. I'm going by the cockroach blood in the Roach Motel, I guess, and there's not a lot of it, so only 2. 4 points for how believable it is. Gotta take off 1 point because no one can be turned into a cockroach, so sorry, but that's just how it has to be. 5 points for how creative it is. It's what lacks in slightly believability, it makes up for in creativity because it is extremely creative. Getting turned into a cockroach, getting crushed. So, extremely creative. 4 points for how surprising it is. It was pretty surprising that she died. And 4 points for how scary it is. It was pretty scary. So Debbie comes out to a total of 19 points at number 5. Number 4 is Freddy Krueger himself from Freddy vs. Jason. He gets decapitated at the end of the film by Laurie. So 3 points for how believable, or how bloody it is. It was pretty bloody. 5 points for how believable it is, because he gets his head chopped off. 3 points for how creative it is. It's kind of creative. Decapitation. 5 points for how surprising it is, because you don't expect Freddy to die, actually. And 3 points for how scary it is. It was pretty scary. So Freddy Krueger comes out to a total of 19 points at number 4. Number 3 is Philip from A Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors. Philip gets his tendons ripped out and he gets walked off a building. So 4 points for how bloody it is, 3 points for how believable it is because he can't be walked like a puppet like that. 5 points for how creative it is, 3 points for how surprising it is, and 4 points for how scary it is. It was pretty scary. So Philip comes out to a total of 19 points at number 3. Number 2 is Dan from A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 5, The Dream Child. He gets fused into his motorcycle and crashes. So 3 points for how bloody it is. It was pretty bloody. 4 points for how believable it is, just because can't really get fused into a motorcycle, actually. 5 points for how creative it is. Again, creative kill. 3 points for how surprising it is. And 4 points for how scary it is. Pretty scary. So Dan comes out to a total of 19 points at number 2. But the number 1 best, most pointed A Nightmare on Elm Street kill is Tina from the very first A Nightmare on Elm Street. And the first kill of the franchise. So she gets slashed across the chest, flung around the room, and just bleeds out. So 3 points for how bloody it is. It was pretty bloody. 4 points for how believable it is because she can't float in the air. 2 points for how creative it is. It is kind of creative, but she only gets slashed. 5 points for how surprising it is because you think this is going to be like a main character in the film, but she dies within the first 15 minutes. And 5 points for how scary it is. It was an extremely scary kill, especially at the beginning of a horror film. So Tina comes out to a total of 19 points as, I guess, one of the number 1, as one of the best, I guess. But is at number 1 for the best, one of the most pointed kills in the A Nightmare on Elm Street franchise. And then after this, I'll do one more video of my top 10 favorite moments of the Elm Street franchise. So, that's it. Thanks for watching.